Hello, KHJ Media. I'm providing you with this video feedback to give you some detailed guidelines and instructions on the changes you'll need to make in your final paper based on the draft that you submitted. So here is the template for the title page, all the specific guidelines, uppercase names. This is all in uppercase, which is not the case on your title page, so be sure to follow the template guidelines when creating your paper. I've fixed the issues somewhat here in your table of contents. Your executive summary needs to summarize the information from your situation analysis and your research plan, which you don't do. So let's see the issues here. Let's just check and see how many times you use the word hour, right? So this is not a first-person journey type of an essay. So we have 48 instances of hour and 16 instances of we. So more than 60 times you're using first-person narration throughout your paper, which is wildly inappropriate, right? This is not a first-person journey essay. It's a campaign plan that's produced by an agency, KHJ Media. So we want to get rid of, maybe 20 times using first person, we or our, certainly not more than 60 times, right? Our campaign is focused primarily on Promotion OCA and their annual fundraising bowl-a-thon. We don't have any information, just really badly worded, right? And there's no information summarizing situation plan or the research plan, or where do you identify OCA as your client, its current situation, any information about research that you've done on the organization that would provide support for a campaign. Our campaign has a budget that was created to manage the amount of money spent on promotional items. This doesn't tell me what you would say in an executive summary is you would just state the budget. The campaign will be strictly monitored weekly and require us to post frequently. So with this first person issue, so are you, Jonas, and Katie, and Henry going to actually do this posting next semester? Us to post frequently. Well, are you going to post frequently? You're not, right? So we need to really work on the wording and approach to this paper and your campaign plan. Our campaign will help OCA tremendously with donations. Well, what does that mean? This is very vague and generic. The number, not amount, of volunteers. So how much in donations and how many volunteers is this campaign designed to generate? Tremendously doesn't tell us anything. Here's your situation analysis. I've made quite a bit of revisions here. We never use a postal code abbreviation. This would be Florida, right? OCA is a registered 501c3 nonprofit organization founded in This is a quote from their website. When you cite a website, I don't think any of your in-text citations are in APA style. You would cite the page that it came from about OCA, no date, and then whenever you have a quote, you have to tell us what paragraph it came from if it's on a website. If it's in a book or if it's pages, then you would do the page number. On a website, it would be the paragraph number. This is from their mission and vision page. So you can't just say OCA, no date, right? You have to tell us what page on the OCA website, and if it's a quote, what paragraph it came from. Again, this is not an APA citation down here either. Let's keep going. OCA's public relations efforts include social media platforms, video publications and promoting fundraisers. So we have this is a tense change in your verbs here. Just really awkwardly phrased here. Families of individuals, loved ones' life. So this is plural and this is singular. OCA has an upstanding reputation. I don't know what that means. OCA is prominent of social media. OCA maintains a website, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram profiles to promote their organization. Okay, let's keep going. We don't need to explain why you need to do a SWOT analysis. It's required. So it's an essential element of any campaign book. So this is not appropriate here. OCA is a strong organization. Well, what does that mean? How do you know it's strong? And if it's strong, why does it need a campaign? If it's strong, but it's facing funding threats, it's kind of contradictory, right? A strong business plan, so it doesn't need donations or anything, then I assume. I don't know what that means. Their sports teams are inclusive, welcoming all abilities. So if people do not have any compromised abilities, can they participate? Is that the purpose of the program? There's also a general lack of interest and awareness from our society regarding autism and disabilities, which in turn shapes public perception and provides for a lack of awareness. So this is circular. There's a lack of awareness, which in turn shapes a lack of awareness. And is that true? Is there a lack of awareness in our society about autism? If so, you would need to have a citation. Is OCA looking to gain employees to develop? Is that a goal that OCA has, is gaining employees? Do they have the funding to pay more employees? Advocacy efforts are important for people with mental and physical impairments, but the issue is they lack the funding, research, policy change, and advocacy efforts to see great changes. What are great changes in what? I don't know what that means. And it's circular, right? See great changes. Advocacy efforts. OCA in the autistic community. So it would be the autism community. Is the community autistic? We need to be careful with the way you phrase things to be respectful and accurate and precise in your wording. Increased awareness through social media. Well, what about the website? Is it just through social media? Well, now we're talking about and the website. So increased enrollment and volunteers. So at some point you refer to a need for increasing awareness, changing attitudes, soliciting donations, recruiting volunteers, gaining new employees. At other times you're talking about increased enrollment and volunteers. What is it? Is it all of those? If it is, then you need to be inclusive every time that you talk about it. If not, then be specific. Maybe not all of these different items. So certainly the employees and enrollment, I'm not sure that that's really the goal of the campaign, is it? If your goal is to increase awareness, to get more people to attend the event. So this paper begins by talking about and framing it as focused on a specific event. And now we're talking about employees and enrollment, volunteers and social media. It's just all over the place. And I'm not sure what the focus of the campaign actually is. The work OCA deals in is unique in that competition is not a major threat. Is that true? does OCA not competing with any other nonprofits for volunteers or donations or employees or attendance at its events? In the fight for awareness and support for the disabled community, any hands on deck provide a boost in efforts. Any hands on deck? I don't know what you're trying to say here. One could argue that other organization with a similar goal could put a dent in the potential pool of donations and volunteers. However, each organization inadvertently works together, spreading news of the need for support for the autistic community again. So this would be autism. But you haven't, I don't know what other, what are you talking about? This whole section is inaccurate and incomplete. The threats. You need to identify competitors and analyze threats to OCA. The research plan. So we don't need to say again, we can get away from some of the first person here. OCA serves a particularly unique niche in its market. What is its market? Rather than it being a competitor, it is a mutual proponent for a common cause and goal associated with similar organizations such as SECO, which I have no idea what that is, which does much the same work as OCA, yet they choose to work with a different demographic of patients. I have no idea what that means. OCA works in this market, but you've never told us what the market is. And why is industry in quotation marks? Nonprofit education and care of those affected by autism. Okay, I guess that's the market. It'd be nice to know that before you keep I don't know what you're talking about. What has inhibited their push more than anything else is a limited pool of resources. I don't know what their push, what push? What are they pushing? Now, these can be financial resources such as donations and state funding or manpower resources. I thought that OCA was a strong, upstanding organization. Now it has a lack of resources. No, very confusing. I don't know why this is an 11-point font here. An intriguing fact just off the homepage of gooca.org depicts that OCA sees a revenue of $2.2 million that's met with same dollar amount of expenses. I don't know what in the world this means. So OCA raises $2.2 million and their operating costs are $2.2 million. I don't understand why. I mean, that's an interesting point, but why is it an intriguing fact? Why? I don't understand. To properly understand the answers to these questions, one must realize the extent. Well, you're talking about operating costs, right? So if you want to talk about operating costs, you need to be very specific about the costs of the rent, the costs of the utilities, the cost of the supplies, the cost of the payroll, the cost of operating costs. Not this generic feel-good stuff about how much they care about their participants. If I care a lot, does that increase my operating costs, or do my operating costs depending on my bills? A common number tossed around in the discussion of autism is the exponentially increasing rate. So this is good information here. This is certainly not an APA citation, but I mean here you're talking about the market for the client service population that OCA, serves. So in the 80s, it was 1 in 5,000 people. Today, it's 1 in 68 people who are on the autism spectrum. So there has been an increase in demand for services, And this increase in demand for services maybe is increasing operating costs and enrollment. But why is it just casually mentioned here at the end of this is the service population? I don't understand. There's really no quantitative specific information in your new media audit other than the number of people who have liked their Facebook page, right? Where do you describe the engagement with OCA's Facebook posts? How many people on average like a post or share a post? And is Facebook the only social media platform they use? This content here, these last two paragraphs, is just extremely vaguely worded and informally phrased. It doesn't provide any of the information required from that new media audit document that required you to actually provide how many times OCA posts a week, what days and times OCA posts, how many people like the posts, how many people comment on the posts, how many people share the posts. The page itself has 2,300 likes and followers, but which is very infrequent. What does that mean? Does that mean nobody does, or does that mean 5 people? How many? This is just very vague, generic, uninformative content. So, public's primary target audience. So this campaign at the beginning tells me that it's designed to promote the bowl-a-thon. So is the primary target audience for the bowl-a-thon families seeking assistance with managing a normal life for their child affected by autism? Is that the primary target audience for a campaign designed to raise awareness, solicit donations, recruit volunteers, increase attendance at a bowl-a-thon as people affected by autism? To me, I don't think so. I don't understand what you're saying here. This may be the primary service population, but is it the primary target audience for your campaign? I don't think so, right? So this campaign will require our agency to take full control of the reins as far as social media is concerned. So the parents or participants invite close family and friends to go to the bowl-a-thon. Ensure the parents are sharing social media content. So maybe the campaign, maybe you do want to focus on those people. You're not going to broaden it then to include people who are not necessarily affected by autism. This is all information that should be in your campaign plan. This has nothing to do with doing research. This is all campaign plan content. And it's also not accurate, right? Because Katie, Henry, and Jonas are not going to take reins of the social media, right? This is something that could be executed by my class next semester, but it's not you folks, right? So this information has nothing to do with research, right? It's just talking about your campaign plan. So let's get rid of it, I think. Or you can move it, but none of this content has anything to do with research. None of this content has anything. How many people attended last year? If you want to do research on their social media, then you need access to their social media metrics. If you want to do research on their website, then you need access to their Google Analytics. If you want to do research on their event, then we need to know how many people attended the event this year so that we can increase the number of people attended last year. But none of that information is in your research plan. It's not a research plan. It's like a preview of your campaign. Actually, it does have some quantitative information here, and it does tell us. So all of this is a campaign goals and objectives. It's not a research plan. Never use ST or ND or RD. On Sunday, October 21, 2018. And again, we are loaded with the first person, right? Okay, it's audience growth, not attendance, right? Where's attendance? Okay, attendance by, so you want to get 25, where's the 250? It was 250 in your research plan. Increase the attendance by up from the number of 250. So you need to have that information here in your objectives. Media, social media. So is it only on Facebook? And if it's only on Facebook, let's stay specific to Facebook and not be real generic again, talking about social media, right? And is it, so you want to increase Facebook page likes and followers? Do you want to increase Facebook engagement, such as likes, shares, comments? Social media audience growth by itself is not particularly effective. Okay, so again, you're saying that you're going to execute your campaign on KHJ Media's website, which is not accurate, right? Because you're not going to be doing this in this fall of 2018, are you? I don't think so. Social media at least 3 times a week between our group members. So you guys are actually going to do this then. I mean, that's the way you've worded this, right? I don't understand. What's the strategy? What are the message themes? What's the text in the message is going to look like? And then what are the tactics? What days and times of the week is this content going to be posted? And then how will you measure it, right? Okay, here. Is this posting is this for the bowl-a-thon? Okay, well, again, we're all first person throughout here. At the start of the, what we need dates here, not just start of the spring semester. Start of the spring semester and end on 21. Our posts will gradually become more oriented to the, so it's you guys are actually going to post this content. The budget, I don't see any amount of budget here. Okay, $400. That's why I didn't see it. There we go. What is the money going to be used on? I don't. Is that what you're going to pay somebody to do all the posting? Since it's not going to be you. This is not a budget, right? $100 between each of our. I don't know what this. And how many hours is it going to take? Our goal for the amount of hours should be around 100 to 200. So, how many hours per week? How many times? What days? What times are you going to post? Campaign will be evaluated weekly by checking the number of posts and shares. Well, nowhere do you say that posts and shares or engagement is a goal or objective. At the moment, we are received a very minimal amount of viewers. So here's a goal, or an objective rather. Oh, this is on your own Facebook page. This doesn't make any sense at all. Because you guys aren't going to be executing this campaign. So I don't understand how it relates to the KHJ Media Facebook page or Twitter page. And all of a sudden Twitter is here, but nowhere else is Twitter in the campaign. None of the bibliography entries are in APA site style. Critical issue here. Make sure that you follow the template on your appendices.